What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? We're gonna get into it fast. It's Lord of Lips here on the No Dolls channel with another installment of the rundown. You guys know the deal. Like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Let's get our interactions up there, engagements up there. Shout out to all the people that have been dedicated listeners. I'm getting the same recurring listeners and same interactions. So I want to shout out to you guys and appreciate the engagement. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. We're gonna get into it. It's episode 5 of the rundown. Let's get into it. So um we got Mr. Pop Out and Show Niggas. Mr. Pop Out and Show Niggas. We're gonna start there. Kendrick Lamar has announced, as he does in his own brilliant marketing way. The man uses social media is so genius. He uses it as a tool, which it should be used as, because I'm sure he has burner accounts, and I'm sure someone that's so in tune with what's going on. I'm sure Kendrick scours the internet, just like Jay Z and people like that. Um, but he doesn't have a big social media appearance on there. So he has this, he's built up, and Kendrick Lamar was one of the first of the blog era, if not the first. You got him, Frank Ocean, J. Cole, some of our revered artists of our times. They've done a good job with reclusivity. Reclusivity. So they have mastered the art of taking themselves outside of the spotlight, and in turns, they get more traction that way. Like that's their appearance. So Kendrick Lamar, you know, cue the card for him, same way he did with the battle, where he just drops a link for the songs. He doesn't tweet, he doesn't say anything, there's no caption, just drops a link and lets it be. And the internet goes into fucking frenzy. Oh my god, oh my god. It's like he's the king. And I've been saying this for years before the beef. He's the king at shaking the table, stirring like moving culture, stirring the pot. Like he drops a bomb, and then like it's like us on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's like he just drops a bomb, and like he's so far, and then he like removes himself and then lets it be what it is. So Kendrick Lamar announces that he's doing a pop out show in at the Forum, at the Forum in LA on June 19th, which is Juneteenth. So Kendrick Lamar is just like leaning heavy into this whole idea of culture, um, and like trying to make sure that we see the separation between the two. And he is like doubling down. I've never seen Kendrick lean so hard into some of these things. He's like doubling down and saying, "Yeah, yeah." So it's the 19th. It is going to be an event. It Now the forum only seats. I don't have their proximity. I should look it up, but I think only like 20,000 people are going to be able to attend. But if you went on Ticketmaster and some of these resale things, like there was apparently in the queue for hundreds of thousands of people were in queue trying to get these tickets, which to me wasn't a shock. And newsflash out there, people, it may have not been this big, but Kendrick Lamar is the second. I don't know why, because there's all this shit going on Twitter, like, oh, he's really just, he's so glad he's milking this Drake thing, and Drake is feeding him, and he's a bum. All this stuff is just like farce. It's so farce. Um, Kendrick Lamar has been the second, or first, depending on the year and when they dropped, they've been the biggest acts in the genre. Kendrick Lamar sells out tours, he sells out arenas, he can do a stadium. Kendrick Lamar is a huge, huge act, guys. I think, like mentioned earlier, his lack of social media presence confuses people because he can go away for so long. And like when he goes away, it's like he completely goes away because there's no social media presence there. His team does a good job at honoring that. They don't feed the cycle really much with Kendrick Lamar news. So it can appear that he's not as big as an artist as he is, but he is a gigantic artist. So anyways, there's hundreds of thousands, or 100,000 people in the queue waiting to get Kendrick Lamar tickets. No shock to me. I wish I would kill to be at that event, man. It is going to be the blackest event of all fucking time, man. And it's going to be the elements of black culture that people, and I'm so glad he's also, I want to put this out there. He's also live streaming it to Twitch and Amazon Prime. Also, go if you want a hint at what Mr. Kendrick Lamar is going to do, because in my opinion, he's hip hop's greatest performer this side of him and Kanye West. Not just mic performance, because you got the great art, great previous MCs of the past that give great mic performances and great performances. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, all of them, Chuck D. But Kendrick Lamar has mastered the performance of the arts. I mean the whole thing. He's the MC of that caliber of those people that I named, KRS-One and all those. But he's taken the Michael Jackson, Kanye West approach as far as the whole ambiance of the performance, and he has mastered it. So go check out his Live in Paris Big Steppers tour. It's the greatest tour ever, I believe, as far as performance wise. Go check that out on Amazon Prime as well. But he's going to be live streaming this to Amazon Prime and Twitch. I think the Twitch thing is funny because I think he's doubling down, and in a funny way, he is here to capture on camera DJ Academics' audience and DJ Academics. DJ Academics grew up on Twitch. He's blown up on Twitch, and he has a whole Twitch community. They call it the Academy. They call it the Academy. So Kendrick Lamar is just putting on a masterclass on trolling, and it's so good to see it in today's age because it's all caught on camera. I think one of the best videos out there are, if you watch the reaction videos, they have a collage of all the reactors, all the big reactors. No Life Shack, Your Music Whore, um, Screwface Gene, all of the music reactors. Shout out to y'all out there. But they have a collage of these people reacting to um, the diss tracks. And that as a muse, that as an art piece is so genius. I'm so glad that Kendrick Lamar did what he did and he struck while Academics was on live television, because like that as an art piece, because what happens in history is like context gets ruined, a lot of things get washed out, so when you look back at stuff on history, it becomes like pretty black and white. You don't like history doesn't always tell the full fine details because it's cliff notes. you know the winners of the war get to tell the spoils of the war. They get to tell the version that they want to tell. So um that being out there, I love it because it's like, no matter what happens in the future, with this situation, no matter what's told 10 years down the line, like we have the actual reactions from the people during the time. Like we didn't have that with Pac and Big. We didn't have that with KRS and MC Sham. We didn't have that with Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. We didn't have that with Nas and Jay. We just didn't even have that maybe 5, 10 years ago with any beef. We didn't have it to this level. So that was just a little side note there. But yeah, Kendrick Lamar, June 19th, on Juneteenth, on a Wednesday, and this is shortly after um his birthday. And I gotta finish thoughts. I'm sorry, I gotta finish my thoughts. But we got 6/16. That's a day I'm gonna continue to tell everybody to look out for. I believe Kendrick Lamar has something coming on 6/16. I'm not even sure. I even thought that maybe this is a placeholder date that he's given, because I'm sure Drake and his team or somebody's going to try to step on this event. And I also want to put out there um, that the security needs to be tight on that day. Security needs to be tight. And we need to all make sure that we're watching this event for, things that could unfold. But 6/16, we got Pac's birthday, we got Kendrick's birthday, we got Cube's birthday. These are all leading up. These are all West Coast legends. He's always paid homage to these people, and this is all leading up to the event. I think it's genius. Kendrick is really back outside, and I think he's really embracing Compton and his roots. I'm so glad to see him do this. And the beautiful thing for me seeing him do this is what I suspected. This is what me and my friends talked about. I did not have a podcast, unfortunately, during the Mr. Morale era. I went through a little hiatus, but um, I still got some of my notes from that album, and I told everybody he was writing himself out of the box. And if you remember the concept of that album, it was about a box. He did not want to be boxed into this image, and he was writing himself out of that box. Like he was killing a character because he was like, no, enough of this savior character that I've been boxed. He obviously, whether he blames himself or he blames the fans or there's nobody to blame, there was a character arc that Kendrick fed this whole activist thing. And Drake and J. Cole have been alluding to this in a lot of their diss, that there was this image he built up and it was fake. And I always thought that that was an interesting angle. I wanted them to lean on to that more. But if you truly listen to Kendrick Lamar's music, you would know that he was self aware. He's very self aware and he was aware of this image that created. And he's always had the duality, him being a Gemini, us being in Gemini season, by the way, too, is crazy with the Jupiter rising. And I won't get into all that. But he, I think I've always believed he's intentionally written himself out of this box. That's what Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers represented to me. He was done with this character, and he wanted to write himself out of this box. And I knew we was gonna get to some of the nigga shit. I knew we was gonna get to some of the nigga shit, and here we are. Some of the nigga shit is here. Kendrick is back in Compton. He is with the little homies. He's with Dave Free. He's with TDE. He's back home. We might get his mom and dad on a motherfucking diss track. They gonna be at the show. Everybody's gonna be popping out. And the other thing that I'm just predicting, because I be seeing shit different from everybody, is that Kendrick Lamar was announced like last year. And Kendrick Lamar and PG Lane, shout out to PG Lane, shout out to Dave Free. Um, it's a multimedia company that they do. It's not just a label. It's not a record label with just music coming out. They are doing videos. They're doing movies. They're doing TV shows. It was announced that he was working with the creators of South Park last year, maybe 2 years ago. That was announced, and that's supposed to be coming out. That's supposed to be coming out soon. And then it's also he's in this Lego thing with Pharrell. So Kendrick Lamar is a free man creatively. I mean, this is really a brilliant chess move that Kendrick Lamar has done on the industry, and he's racking in the dough, guys. He is racking in the dough. Um, but my prediction is so family ties, the Hillbillies, and a lot of y'all remember Range Brothers. A lot of that shit, y'all remember it was very quirky, very like nerdy, very Billy like hillbilly shit type deal. And I said then Kendrick is a very intentional artist, and I knew that that was for a reason. And it's starting to it makes more sense for me today. It made sense then, and I kind of seen it, but now I see it clear as day. He has a comedy sketch coming out. I think Kendrick's next offering is going to be a comedy bit. That's my prediction. There's a post out there, and they touched on this on the JBP Joe Budden podcast. Ice touched on this, but there's a big post out there that Kendrick on his albums has done a lot of different avenues of entertainment. He's done plays with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. He's done audio. I mean, he's done short films with Good Kid, Mad City. He's done magazines with Dan. It's been different forms of media concepts, like the style that he rose these things out, his albums. And I think his next one is going to be a comedy sketch. This whole Drake battle, they both are goat trolls. But I think Kendrick is leaning more into this, and I could see an album being rolled out on top of this, and the whole style of They Not Like Us and Euphoria. It was really a roast battle, like Yo Mama type session. That he was like, even the character on They Not Like Us, his voice is like like he's in a roast battle at lunch in a high school room. So I think with the South Park creators in his back pocket, or him being in their back pocket, however you want to look at it, but him working with them, him working closely with Dave Chappelle previously, I think he has a comedy sketch type. I don't know how he's going to execute it, but that is my prediction for Kendrick Lamar. Also, Kendrick Lamar pops out at the Compton College graduation. Notoriously, Drake, wore the Compton Community College shirt with the Tupac chains. And Kendrick is just leaning into the troll. He showed up at the concert, and Drake said he didn't plant no money trees, and I mean that again, if you haven't been paying it, it's a good angle. I love Drake. I mean, Drake taking that angle's funny. It's good. But people that's been paying attention to Kendrick clearly knows what he does to giving back to the city and the community of Compton. But he goes to the graduation and gives a speech. This is his first public appearance since the beef. I thought that's just the Gemini in him. That's the brilliance in Kendrick Lamar. Like people have got to see his art, like music aside and stuff, like the shit he does and how he moves, the duality he always puts on display is right up there with Prince, right up there with Pac, and a lot of people miss that in their art. That These are Geminis, and they've always displayed duality. And people say, Tupac is not this. He's really not a thug. He's not. But you guys are missing the point. Like we were watching a Gemini in real life, like hit the nail on the head. Like if there's one person that can represent duality. I mean, Prince too. Prince is crazy. I mean, people thought he was a woman a lot, and like, but if there's another person that can represent duality that strongly, is Tupac. I mean, he would just 1 minute he would be this, and then the next, and he did it so passionately, so believably. Um, People thought he was stuck in a character. They thought he was Bishop from Juice, but like this is just there's some truth to that because if the dangerousness in Tupac being such a great actor is he could take on that character so well because he's when you're that well versed and you have that much duality upon you, it's very easy for you to attract that character and then stay in character. So yeah, Kendrick pops out at the graduation, and I just think that's funny how like during the middle of this whole rap beef that you want to call it, that's your first public appearance. It's not gonna be it's not June 19th. That's not gonna be his first public appearance. No, it was him speaking at a graduation. And he has a funny thing on Damn on Triple X, the song Triple X, you know, his homie calls him because his homie's son has been killed, and he's like looking at Kendrick as this savior, as this person that's close to God, and he's calling on K Dot and is just saying like, man, what like I need you to pray for me. I need you to talk to the Lord. Like what? Try to ask for advice from Kendrick, and Kendrick's like, you got the wrong guy. If somebody touches my brother's mom, sister, cousin, niece, it's up. Like you got the wrong guy. So he goes through this whole long rant about how he would commit the worst kind of crimes to anybody that touches anybody in his family, and he don't got no advice for you but to go retaliate. But at the end of the song when it switches, he's like he gets a call and it's him going to go speak at a school for gun control. He's like, "Hey kids, let's talk about gun control." After he just told his homie that he would like splatter somebody's brain everywhere, and that's Kendrick Lamar in the essence. And people miss that about him, and that's why he had to write himself out of this savior box because he's been telling y'all through all his lyrics, all his rhymes, I'm not too sanctified to shoot somebody. Like I will still kill somebody. I'm not this guy. I just have these different elements of me and these different sides of me, and you guys are only just like listening to this one side of me. Like I have a different side of me, and I believe all of it, and that's the Gemini in them. So I think it's brilliant. I cannot wait to the pop out show. I will be live streaming it. I cannot wait. It is going to be an event like no other. It's hip hop's biggest event of the year. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. It's hip hop's biggest event of the year. The Geminis, man. I mentioned it earlier a little bit, but shout out to Prince and his family, or I should say, rest in peace to Prince, rest in power to the symbol himself, the artist Prince. We just came up upon his birthday. We lost Prince 8 years ago, and I just want to put that out there still. Thank you for all your work and all your art that you shared with this world, and being the light that you were within this industry. Thank thank you for showing the duality of man as well. So just want to say that shout out to Prince, man. We're recording this on the 9th. It was Prince's birthday a few days ago. Shout out to Prince. Um, but then we got Drake with Wangwan Delilah. He butchers the classic Hey There Delilah. They're not too happy about the remake. Everybody go see their reaction to it yourself. They thought it was AI. But I just want to touch on this real quick. Drake is a troll master. You're not gonna get away with this, dude. You're not gonna fucking get away with it. Stop it. Stop trying to troll your way out of the fact that you lost. You lost. You always were able to do this. When you get into a hip hop fight, 1-on-one, down the pipe, you go switch genres and try to act like you never really care or that you trolling in some other damn way. What happened was you beat Meek Mills, who's the most retarded rapper of all time. We all established that, and you really convinced the public that you were like that. And I just don't know if you were ever like that. I guess some people say you beat Common. I don't really necessarily agree. You did what Kendrick did to you. You got stay scheming in the club, and Common out rapped you the whole way, but whatever. Also, You can't troll your way out of this, dude. You're dealing with a troll master. Kendrick Lamar is a fucking genius mastermind. We're talking about a Stevie Wonder of our time, a Marvin Gaye of our time, guys. So that's just not gonna work, dude. Just not gonna fucking work. But there were some threats in that song, man. If y'all listen closely, um, I won't highlight them because I hate ruining it for everybody. But there was some threats in that song. Kendrick Lamar, watch your back, man. Watch your back. He's nasty. He's a nasty, nasty fucking man, man. Nasty man. Crazy man. Speaking of crazy men, Alex fucking Jones. That little clip that you got floating out there, you crying on YouTube or you crying on Twitter, that ain't the best for you. And I've been lumped in. I haven't been categorized with Alex Jones. I'm not nowhere near that level, but I've supported him I've just shared some of his content. I mean, years ago. I've been following Alex Jones for a long, long fucking time. Way before the Sandy Hook thing. I've been following Alex Jones because I'm an extremist myself. But to see it all unfold is kind of like debilitating. They are making him. He's liquidating his assets, which we knew he would have to do because he filed for bankruptcy with the lawsuit that he has to pay to the families. I think it's like $1 billion, or it looks $1.5 billion in damages owed to the victims of the Sandy Hook families, just due to his speech and his defamation uh, speech. I really cannot believe that. I really can't believe that, man. He doesn't have $1.5 billion. I can tell you that, but they're going to liquidate all his assets, and they are making him liquidate Infowars, which is where we know Alex Jones from. His show Infowars. So he went. He said that they're coming after the kids and all types of shit. He's crying. It looks horrible. I don't know whose cry was more horrible or worse. Fucking Billy Carson when he told that story about the alien invasion. That was just horrible. Not the story, but him crying. I love you, Billy, but you're blowing it. Um, and then Alex Jones crying on Twitter about that. Like y'all need to take some lessons because y'all don't even know how to cry right. Like I didn't feel no emotional connection when y'all cried. I felt like I wanted them to take your show from you because you cried so horrible. But nah, man, it's just a crazy, crazy time we live in. Alex Jones ordered to pay 1.5 billion to the family. That's gonna sink him. He's done. He still will have some sort of voice, but they're gonna be able to silence his voice, man. Without when they make you liquidate some of your assets and stuff, he's only as powerful as a voice. You're only as powerful as your pockets. So without the funding and the necessary tools that you need to even combat to alone, if no one is even combating your message and stuff, like in order for me to even start what I'm doing, it costs money. This costs money, and I'm on level fucking one, if that. But when someone's hindering you in this space, you definitely need money. Tupac says you gotta go, you gotta Tuso, the art of war. You got to have money to go to war. It costs a lot of money to go to war, as we fucking see, and that's going on in the nations on Earth today. So if you can't combat um, a media campaign against you, a smear campaign against you, you don't stand a chance. They're just going to silence your voice. They're going to take your assets away, and if you don't lose fight within that, in and of itself, even if you keep fighting and having a voice, you're just gonna end up like the fucking dude on. Y'all remember the movie 2012? And there was the dude, not the dad, but the dad went to Yellowstone and visited the campsite, and there was the dude that ran his own little radio station, and he had the maps and all that shit. And he was in a little camper, and he had been telling people about the heat. You're gonna end up like the fucking old dude in the movie on the fucking corner of the road with the sign that says the end is near, pretty much. That's gonna be Alex Jones. They're gonna turn him crazy like they done Kanye West. I can't believe that shit. Like Kanye West, one of the biggest voices, he's our guy of our time and brilliant fucking thinker. He just had a whole hard drive of music leak and no one's talking about it. He says shit, crazy shit all the time, man, all the time, like out of his own mouth, and no one talks about it. So they have the power to do that. I don't want to get into who they is. They could be whoever y'all think they are, but let's watch as Alex Jones is silenced, man, because he does not have $1.5 billion. I can tell you that. They can liquidate all they well, they can liquidate him down to the motherfucking they can liquidate him down to his children's children. He ain't gonna have that money. So they just gonna silence him and run a smear campaign on him. But it's our job. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think it'd be an interesting time for his friends. I mean, I don't know how much real friends he has within the industry, but it'd be interesting to see how people like Joe Rogan and that kind of group of people who have supported Alex Jones in the past stand by him during this time. Uh, um, on the flip side of somebody like defamation of characters, lawsuits, not having you saying crazy shit and then coming back to bite you in the ass, we have Mr. Anthony Fauci. I call the motherfucker Tony. So let's see, Tony had to appear in front of Congress, in front of U.S. Like have a testimony in front of U.S. lawmakers this past week, where he had to kind of do some explaining behind the whole origins of the COVID vaccine, some of his statements, where he got some of his science from. Um, he had to do it in front of a subcommittee of the Coronavirus Pandemic Council. Um, and they didn't take him to the woodshed like Dave Smith took fucking Cuomo to the woodshed, but this was very telling. It was very interesting. I definitely recommend people go back and watch this. It's very telling that we now they are sitting this man, Anthony Fauci, head of the CDC, um, like they're starting to roll out a whole trial against this man. And I'm old enough to remember just 2 years ago, if you spoke out against this man, you were like criminalized, demonized in the media. Like that was no. Like, you did not support the science. You were aloof. You were a flat earth theory person. And now we're seeing we get Dave Smith and Cuomo, and Dave Smith took him to the woodshed about this situation. Now we're seeing Tony sitting in front of the House of Representatives having to explain itself. So like my point is that we're watching the whole narrative shift on not only COVID but like the actual vaccine. That's what this is really in terms with. We're watching the narrative shift where the people are starting to say, "Hold on, what's up with that?" And so it's really really alarming. It's really sad because I know a lot of people that have taken the vaccine. Um, and it's really in the boosters that they're finding a lot of trouble here. And I think it's an ethical situation that we're facing because they pushed this so much and they even started to do certain mandates. Jobs started to mandate it. There was flying restrictions. So it's going to become an ethical battle, which is going to be hard to win in court. You know, court's not going to be based on some ethics and stuff because that's so broad. But um, I love that we're putting him in front of them. I love go ahead and get Tony in front of these motherfuckers and let's question him up because like if is he going to face jail time? No. But is Alex Jones facing jail time? No. And it became an ethic thing. I mean, they sued him for defamation and shit like that. But there is people, y'all attacked Joe Rogan, y'all attacked Farrakhan, y'all attacked all these, y'all called them left wing extremists. And y'all attacked them in the media. Y'all did do that. That was just 2 years ago. So here we have it to where they're opening the door for that. And he went up there and fucking cried. Tony's sitting up there with his crocodile tears crying, saying that people have made death threats to his family and that's sad. And that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. But what about the people when y'all did y'all smear campaign and did what y'all did? What about the people that was facing y'all were saying that they were anti-science and these people needed to be castrated and kicked out of the country and on Rikers Island and they just were a threat to democracy. So y'all did the same thing. I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of this shit. Y'all need to read the real history of Anthony Fauci. I don't trust these men. That's just what it comes down to for me. I don't care what kind of trouble that gets me into. Y'all have fun with that. Um, I read too much of the scriptures and stuff. I don't trust these men. I just watched a Black Mirror episode yesterday with my homeboy uh, and it was called Black Museum. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Well, what a brilliant fucking episode! What a brilliant episode! But when people start playing with that type of shit, I know that's not God, and I know we struggle with that because we want to see the evolution of man. We want man to evolve, but God put a firmament on our evolution because there's a there's a saying. I mean, there's an idea that we can't necessarily handle certain truths. So there's certain things that we get into these ethnic things, and we get into these kind of ideologies, and that we turn them into these big like beefs and stuff like that. And God is he the idea of God is to rise above emotions into the thinking of that consciousness. He doesn't make rash decisions. He makes rational decisions, not out of emotions. We react and act out of emotions. God does not. He's a just God. That's what makes him God. Is that if we believe in the idea of God, is that he's just and he's the final judge. So if you're the ultimate judge, that means you're just and you're not making decisions out of emotions. You're making decisions out of information. You know all the information and you're making just decisions. So that's why evolution is scary, because we're trying to get to that level as a species. And but God won't allow us to get to a certain point. He won't allow man to get to a certain point. Let's just say that. So yeah, Mr. Tony, you got to pay for this, man. And if it becomes, I don't believe you're going to go to jail or anything like that. There's a lot of immunity that was given during that time when y'all rushed that fucking vaccine right down the pop line and stirred up a whole bunch of chicken noodle soup together to come up with some shit, and then force people to take booster after booster after booster after fucking booster. And then y'all went around to neighborhoods after neighborhoods, and then y'all went to unfortunate neighborhood, minority neighborhoods, and literally did a whole campaign, walked around with people with clipboards, scientists and doctors and shit, and walked around to these neighborhoods knocking on door to door to people that can't fucking pay their fucking rent, and y'all try to convince them to take these vaccines, and then y'all was trying to offer initiatives and incentives to fucking make them take the vaccine. Talking about y'all start talking about free weed for the vaccine. I told y'all last episode, when our government is doing shit like that, y'all need to run the other way, y'all. Y'all need to read some fucking scriptures, bro. Y'all know about the mark of the beast? The government ain't never gonna be trying to incentivize me to take some goddamn jab, some vaccine, or put some headset shit on. I watch too many. I watch Final Destination. I watch too many movies, man. It never. They'll tell you. Listen, I'm in full blown conspiracy mode. I don't got a lot of time. When technology or information is given, there's a little grace period. But then a few years later, we're going to see it in movies. We're going to see it in our entertainment. That's how they roll these things out. I was talking to somebody yesterday about the Tupac hologram. Like, y'all think that like that information and that technology just like they wiped it off the planet of the earth, or did they upgrade it? Everything got upgrades. Like, do they got it? The CIA and like our government will get this information, and not just our CIA, other agencies, other countries and stuff. When they get hold of the get access to this information and technology, guys, they have it. They'll throw little small bits of it out to the public, see how we react to it. But they keep the big shit for themselves. They keep the weapons of mass destruction for themselves. That's classified shit that we don't know nothing about. So what do y'all think they're doing with this hologram that they wrote out in 2012? What do y'all think they're doing with these? Now we got the Neuralink, and we're all that shit. I'm telling y'all, when they feed it to the public, we're getting the bottom barrel shit of it. We're getting the bottom barrel shit of it. These motherfuckers got the high end shit, obviously. So we just gotta be weary of that. And I say that to say, watch the movies that they put out. Everything is allegory and stories, y'all. In any of these stories and any of the movies that they put out that they control as well, how do those stories end? How does Frankenstein end? How does the Alien movie end? How does the spaceship movie end? How does the iRobot movie end? How does the chip in your brain movie end? Is it ever a good ending? Is it ever, or are those movies like classified under a horror, sci-fi, thriller? And we just like walk into the shit like a baby goes from horizontal to upright, and that's the dawn of man. That's the evolution. I get that, and we do fight against evolution naturally. Every species, well, not every species, but in their own way, species do fight against its own evolution. We talked about this with the butterfly and the caterpillar. And man, as we continue to evolve, because evolution is such a nasty, it's such a weird thing that you're killing oneself. You're killing a previous self to go into a new form. So of course there's going to be fight and there's going to be restriction there, but we just have to be very careful on how we continue to evolve. There won't be much evolving if Russia keeps if we keep pressing buttons that we're pressing. Russia has declared us a enemy of state for the first time in their diplomatic history. This is announced 2 days ago by the Secretary of Russia, coming out of the Kremlin there. And this is some good news here. This comes off of the back of Biden and the administration, the shitty booty administration of Biden, who I don't know if he took a shit on stage a few days ago or if he really lost his bearings. To me, he either has to be. I talked about trolls earlier. He either is going to go down as the greatest troll because he could be leaning into this. I don't believe he's leaning into this. That it's just too perfect. That will make him the greatest troll of all time on the world stage, doing the shit he does, the falling off the bike, the forgetting the speech, the licking of the ears, all the shit, the forgetful shit he does. Either he really is a demented old senile president, or he's the greatest troll in the history of the world and one of the greatest comedians of all time because he's playing a sick fucking joke on us guys. And those are the two extremes that we're at. On D-Day, he's giving a speech and like he's like turned around, he's forgetting, he's like trying to sit in a chair that doesn't exist. Some people saying he shit his pants again. So, anyways, this news with Russia is coming off the backs of the facts that we have now. We knew we were supplying arms, go figure. But we have openly supplied U.S. arms to Ukraine, and they have used that um, against Russia. They have used that last week against Russia. So now it's like, it was all this speculation. It was like, we know, United States is backing Ukraine. Um, but now it's like, okay, this is the homeboy. This is the homie. Dog, you killed my daughter. I'm talking to the homeboy that supplied the motherfucker that killed my daughter with the weapon. That's what this is. Russia's like, huh, y'all just bombed our shit. And now I'm sending a message to the people that supplied the people that bombed our shit. And we got beef. So that's the step that we're taking. This is another step towards the war in Europe, guys. This is another step towards that, and it's a big step. They're now talking about getting ground troops involved from France and some of our allies there, and that soon it will be U.S. troops on the ground. I think U.S. troops have been on the ground there. They haven't done any military exercises or anything, but Russia is getting closer towards our land with some of their foreign affairs and some of their military exercises. So we're just taking the more and more we keep descending into dissonance in hell, guys. We keep descending closer and closer into it. And as I tell people, once this ball gets rolling, we never known a ball that goes down the hill to go back up the hill by itself. Like that's not the law of motion. That's not how it works. It has to be reacted on by outside force for it to go back the other way. And unless an outside force comes, which we're all ain't no outside force coming. And you know what I'm saying? Like we're the inside of the force, so the outside force would be another entity coming out to get this right. Because we're all in this matrix, we're all in this simulation, we're all in this war mode. There's nothing that us, the people, are going to be able to do. I'm sorry, guys. Once these people are debating war and considering what God ain't considering, as Kendrick said, once they start pressing with this idea of pressing these buttons, it it doesn't go backwards. It doesn't go backwards. And even if things like slow down over this year, it's an election year and stuff like that. Even if things go slow down and stuff like, we're crossing lines that we're going to have to answer for somewhere down the line. When we withdrew from Iraq and Afghanistan, or when we had the war in Iraq and withdrew from Afghanistan and stuff like, yeah, you might not see the ripples of those effects right away necessarily, but you pay. There's every action, there's a reaction. There's going to be a consequence for everything that we do. So us being listed or being declared as an enemy of state for the first time, that is going to have some repercussions for it. I can't say what they are. They may not be intrinsic. They may not be right away. They might not be right now. But again, our kids might have to deal with this. So another series of historic events unfolding right before our eyes. I appreciate you guys for continuing to support this channel, continuing to listen to me. I'm rambling on about a lot of these things. That's why I call it the rundown. It's just I'm trying to get better at just a free flow of my thoughts on some of these things that now helicopters coming over. It's probably fucking bombs over Baghdad right now. But um, I want to say I appreciate you guys to continue to support this channel as we continue to grow. I think what I want my talent and what I want to stand out is just free flow thought on some of these things. Initially, I had a lot of notes taken. I've steered away from that. I just kind of wanted to be a little bit more transparent with you guys and honest, so you guys get to kind of know me and some of my thoughts, and we'll see how they age over time. Please continue to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Put a share, leave a comment below. Tell your friend about it. I have trouble with disassociating. I have a dissonance with it, like I have a disassociation problem, like where I cannot watch myself. I can't look at myself directly in a mirror necessarily, or I can't watch myself on screen because it seems like a whole different human. Like it's very weird. I have a problem with recognizing that I'm a human. So when I look in a mirror and I see body, I see flesh, it like throws me all out of whack. Like I'm like seriously out of whack. But you guys continue to watch me and support me, and I appreciate that. I'm out. Peace.